A Winter Solstice Tale. We sat silently by the hearth of the fire for a while. Mother gently stoked the fire, and the flames danced in response to her touch. Muneen a ineen, muneen. Trust, my daughter, trust, she whispered gently to me. I knew this prayer well, but I couldn't help doubt that this darkness might never lift. The dark days and nights had steadily progressed since the great fires of Samhain had welcomed their arrival. These days were usually a place of retreat and rest, but this year it felt like we were swimming in a vast, never-ending ocean of the unknown. Immense waves crashed continuously, bringing untended grief and pain to the shore. This couldn't be all mine, I thought, for the 100th time. This feels like ancient pain, like eons of separation that carried the gaping wound of love lost between mother and father, sister and brother, son and daughter. Hearts and minds besieged by obsessive, maniacal greed and lies. How did it spiral so destructively out of control? I sighed deeply, for my heart felt like a ton weight, and like it had shattered into a million pieces at the same time. How was that even possible, I wondered. Mother took my hand in hers and softly said, Tar in Éineacht Lumastor, come with me, love. Let me bring you deep into the dreaming that only these dark nights can offer. Give yourself permission to fully melt into the rich blackness of completion and creation. Let me tend to your heart while you weave new dreams of what could be, of what wants to be. The doubt and heaviness were still present, but I let her words wash over me like a soothing balm, and I let the flickering light of the fire fill me with the light of hope as she began to recount her solstice tale. The great thing about the liminal time of solstice, she began, is that ancient, present, and future all merge into the one. There is no separation. The human and divine unite too. All is present in the here and now. Open your heart, Decree, to that truth once again, for love is the heartbeat of this story. Many, many years ago, there lived a woman who could read the wisdom of the stars. Each night she would climb down her well and sit and commune with the primordial waters of creation. These waters ran deep into the underworld, deep into the network of primary and original waters of the earth. As she looked up to the night sky, the walls of the well became her telescope, and she would record and map the stars as they danced in the night sky. Here she was tethered to the elemental and celestial heartbeat and eternal rhythms. It is probably important to mention that this was no ordinary well. This was an ancient and mystical well, and one of 7. Hers was the well of wisdom. The 7 sister wells were all to be found around the base of the sacred mountain. This ancient mountain had many other important elemental features and celestial alignments. Each well was tended to by a woman who aligned with and guarded the gifts of each well. There was the well of wisdom, the well of truth, the well of grace, the well of healing, the well of love, the well of harmony, and the well of devotion. These sacred waters were regarded as the high council to those who visited the holy mountain. A drop of each of their waters was required before anyone could ascend up the mountain, you see. This ensured they could only ascend as the embodiment of their pure heart's nature. I suppose another important piece to this story is that the mountain was not visible to all. Since the Great Flood and subsequent freezing, the pure hearts of many were frozen in pain and fear. They could not seem to defeat those who kept them in these perpetual loops of suffering. To protect the sacred mountain, the guardians veiled her from view for thousands and thousands of years. However, every winter solstice, a man and woman who carried within them the light of the Sacred Heart would be called to the mountain within their dreams to remember and to seed a child of love on winter solstice eve. As time moved on, the flicker of light in the heart of those who remembered grew stronger and brighter, and over time it helped to melt the frozen hearts of others. With the melting waters came great grief for the love lost and for the time taken, but also huge waves of transformation and restoration. The well guardians called a council together and decided that this year at solstice a greater intention and prayer must be set to finally dispel the spell of separation. They began their preparations. Many hearts were burst and broken wide open. Many truths, hard truths, had to be faced. Many old patterns had to be broken. Many broken systems had to finally crumble. And so it was, on the longest and darkest night of the year, that the women of the 7 wells, at the foot of the sacred mountain, sent out the call for 144 men and women across the world to meet them here in the dreamscape. The night was still, the moon enrobed in darkness, Venus cloaked in invisibility, both holding counsel with the celestial womb of the Eternal Mother. The stars shone brightly overhead in the clearest night sky ever seen. Many celestial bodies and beings reverently turned their hearts to the earth to witness this great turning. The Milky Way seemed to hang low over the mountain, whispering wise and ancient keys of remembrance for those gathering. One by one, each man and woman arrived at the entranceway, and walked between two giant standing stones. They all instinctively knew to walk silently and reverently to each well, stating their name and origin, offering a small token and blessing and intention, then taking a drop of water from each well. A drop of wisdom, a drop of truth, a drop of grace, a drop of healing, a drop of love, a drop of harmony, a drop of devotion. Then they made their way up the mountain. Here they found a huge stone circle of 12 mighty pillar stones. At first glance, they appeared to be limestone, but when everyone had finally arrived to the summit, they revealed their true colour. They shone brightly, twinkling in the starlight and moonlight, like iridescent diamond pillars of quartz. The men and the women joined hands and created a circle inside the 12 pillar stones. The 7 guardians guided them into a state of deep peace, presence, and prayer. In unison they spoke. This is the time when hearts will fully unite, when the flame of the sovereign heart will fully ignite. This prayer we will hold on this the longest of nights, until the sun returns at dawn, receding our collective destiny at first light. Together we sing this dream into creation. One by one, their hearts began to glow, and together they chanted rhythmically. Quivnium, Braham, Tigam, Toam. Quivnium, Braham, Tigam, Toam. Quivnium, Braham, Tigam, Toam. I remember, I feel, I know, I am. The mountain hummed in unison. The stars resounded in delight. Their heart light emanated in rings of light across the whole wide world. It wasn't long before the first signs of dawn began to beckon them into a deeper chorus of prayer. This time, everyone invoked together this ancient prayer. Tá Machrí, Tá Machrí, Tá Machrí. I am my heart, I am my heart, I am my heart. The stars began to fade, and as the sun began to rise, everyone fell silent and faced their heart to the rising rays of the dawn on dawn nua. And in those moments, the solstice solar light illuminated the holiest temple of all, their body. They stayed in that silence and let the reverberation of their chants and songs and prayers and presence anchor into every single cell of their being. They offered the overflow to the ground beneath them, intending it to flow through the ley lines to every sacred site, home and heart, all around the world. And before leaving as brothers and sisters of a new dawn, they bowed in reverence to the enormity of what had been seeded and birthed on this special night. They all vowed to be guardians of the Sacred Heart and of this prayer of communion for one and all. I opened my eyes, for I had traversed deep into the dream time, and I found my hands gently holding my heart. Beneath my hands, I could feel a warm glow of hope and the fire of pure love that was once only a dream, stirring and rising within my chest. Mother looked at me knowingly and smiled, and said once again, "Muneen na ineen, Muneen. Trust, my daughter, trust."